Hello there, this is Dixon from MathsWiz, where we teach mathematics and mathematical sciences. Welcome for this lesson.
This is our third lesson in the series Mathematical Equations. In this lesson, we are going to learn the equation of a straight line. In the lesson, we are going to be guided by the following notes. 1. The general equation of a straight line is in the form of y is equals to mx plus c, where m is the gradient of the slope of the line, and c is where the line cuts the y-axis. 2. The number c is called the y-intercept. And 3. The equation of the straight line with the gradient m and intercept c will therefore be of the form y is equals to mx plus c. The lesson will look at equation of a straight line based on 6 areas. In the first area, we are going to determine the equation of the straight line given 2 points. Example number 1 in this area is find the equation of a straight line passing through the point -4, 5 and 0, -4. Note we require the equation of this straight line in the form y is equals to mx plus c. Our first thing is to determine the gradient or the slope of this line, whereby the gradient m will be given by the change in y-axis divided by the change in x-axis, which can be represented as y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. For the pair of coordinates given, we are going to treat -4, 5 as our x1 and y1, whereas 0 and -4 we are going to treat them as our x2 and y2. Therefore, in that connection, our gradient m would be equals to -4 minus 5. We divide this one by the change in x, that is 0 minus -4, and that will give us -9 over 4. Having determined the value of the gradient, we substitute it in the equation, and hence we're going to get y is equals to -9 over 4x plus c. If we pick the point 0 minus 4, it will therefore means that our equation translates to the value of y is equals to -4, which is equals to, we have -9 all over 4, 0 plus c. The whole of this value reduces to a 0, meaning that our c is equals to -4. Therefore, our equation becomes y is equals to -9 all over 4x minus 4. In example number 2, we are told to find the equation of the straight line when this time points are -5 and -3 and 6 and 4. First of all, we want the equation to be of the form y is equals to mx plus c. We have learned that the value of m, the gradient, is equals to change in y over change in x, that is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. In the pairs of values, we are going to treat this one as the x1 and y1, whereas this is our x2 and y2, meaning that this one will translate to y2 minus y1, 4 minus -3 divided by 6 minus -5, and that translates to 7 divided by 11. We now plot this line on a grid, and we are going to have, this is y and this is x. Our first point is 6, 4, and our second point is -5, -3. Now realize that throughout this line, the gradient is the same. If you consider another general point, say xy, it therefore means that between xy and 6, 4, or between xy and -5, -3, the gradient is the same as -5, -3 and 6, 4. Therefore, m, the gradient, which is equals to 7 over 11, is also equals to, that will give us y minus -3 divided by x minus -5, which translates to 7 over 11 is equals to y plus 3 all over x plus 5. We rearrange the equation so that it is in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. We cross multiply the denominators, and that will give us the 7x plus 35 is equals to 11y plus 33, and if we make y the subject of the formula, we are going to get y is equals to 7 over 11x plus 2 over 11. In the second category, we are going to determine the equation of the line when a point and the slope are given. In that, we have, for example, find the equation of the straight line whose slope is minus 7 over 2 and passes through the point 2, 5. In this case, realize that we have the general equation of the straight line is of the form y is equals to mx plus c. From the information given, realize that our m is equals to minus 7 over 2 and c is not known. We are going to determine the value of c. So if we substitute the value of m, we have y is equals to minus 7 over 2x plus c. For us to determine the value of c, we are going to substitute the coordinate minus 2, 5 into the equation and come up with the value of c, where we are going to have 5 is equals to minus 7 over 2 multiplied by minus 2 plus c, which will tell us that our c will become minus 2. Therefore, our equation becomes y is equals to minus 7 over 2x minus 2. Our second question under this category is find the equation of the straight line whose slope is 2 and passes through the point 1, 3. In this case, we are required to come up with the equation of the form y is equals to mx plus c. Note that the value of m as given is equals to 2. So we are required to determine the value of c. And to determine the value of c, we are going to have is y is equals to mx plus c. Y is equals to 2x plus c. We do not know the value of c. So we substitute the point that is given into the equation, so that we come up with a value for c, and therefore we're going to have at a point 1, 3, our equation becomes 3 is equals to 2 multiplied by 1 plus c, and this one would tell us that our c becomes 1. Hence, we have our equation becomes y is equals to 2x plus 1. In the third part of the lesson, we are going to determine the intercepts of a given equation. If we are given a straight line whose equation is equals to y is equals to mx plus c, we are going to realize that the graph cuts at the x-axis at a given point. The coordinate at this point can be termed as a0, whereas the same graph cuts the y-axis at point 0, c. These 2 points are referred as the x-intercept and the y-intercept respectively. Therefore, we learn this. At y-intercept, the x value is equals to 0, whereas at x-intercept, it will mean that the value of y is equals to 0. Our first example under this category is determine the intercepts of the straight line whose equation is equals to 2x plus y plus 6 is equals to 0. In this, we have the following. We first of all write the equation in the general form, and we're going to get in the general form 2x moves to the right hand side, followed by plus 6. That would give us y is equals to minus 2x minus 6. And then we realize that at y-intercept, we have said that x is equals to 0. Thus, y is equals to minus 2 multiplied by 0 minus 6, and this one tells us that y is equals to minus 6. Therefore, the y-intercept is at the point 0 minus 6. 2. At x-intercept, y is equals to 0, and therefore 0 is equals to minus 2x minus 6, and this one tells us that x is equals to minus 3. Therefore, the intercept coordinate is at the point minus 3, 0. In the second question, we are going to determine the intercept when we are given 11x plus 5y is equals to 30. Then we realize the following. At y-intercept, x is equals to 0. Thus, from the equation, we have 11 multiplied by 0 plus 5y is equals to 30, and this one translates to y is equals to 6. Therefore, the coordinate of the first intercept is the point 0, 6. Idea number 2, at x-intercept, y is equals to 0. So therefore we have 11x plus 5 multiplied by 0 is equals to 30, and this one tells us that our x is equals to 30 over 11, and therefore the coordinate of our second intercept is therefore equals to 30 over 11, 0. And those are our x and y intercepts. In the fourth category of this lesson, we are going to determine the equation of a line given the slope and the y-intercept. Example number 1 under the category is determine the equation of the line whose slope is 1 and the y-intercept is 0. Therefore, from the general equation of a straight line, we have y is equals to mx plus c. Realize that our gradient or slope m is equals to 1 and our intercept c is equals to 0. Therefore, our equation becomes y is equals to 1x plus a 0, which is simply y is equals to x. The second example under the category is determine the equation of the line whose slope is minus 2 and the intercept is minus 5. In that case again, we have the equation of the straight line is equals to y is equals to mx plus c. Our gradient m is equals to minus 2. Our intercept c is equals to minus 5, meaning that our equation y is equals to mx plus c, that is minus 2x minus 5. The fifth part of the topic is equation of parallel lines. In this case, we are going to be guided by the following principles. That is, if we have two lines, line 1 and the equation for line 1 is equals to y is equals to m1x plus c1, and you have line 2 and line 2, its equation is equals to y is equals to m2x plus c2. We therefore realize that the two gradient m1 and m2 are related by the concept that m1 is equals to m2 for parallel lines. Our first example under this category is find the equation of the line passing through the point minus 6, 5 and parallel to the second line whose equation is equals to 3x minus 5y is equals to 9. The first thing we are going to do is we determine the gradient of the first line, that is for 3x minus 5y is equals to 9. We convert the equation to the general format, and this one will tell us we have minus 5y is equals to minus 3x plus 9. Divide both sides by 5, and we are therefore going to have y is equals to 3 over 5x minus 9 over 5. For this equation, the gradient m1 is equals to 3 over 5, which means that the gradient m2 is also equals to 3 over 5. The equation of the second line is of the form y is equals to m2x plus c. This one therefore becomes y is equals to m2 3 over 5x plus c. We substitute the point minus 6, 5 to get the value of c. At minus 6, 5, we have minus 6 is equals to 3 over 5 multiplied by 5 plus c. Therefore, our c becomes minus 9, and the equation of the line is equals to y is equals to 3 over 5x minus 9. In the second example, we have the line AB with A 2, 0 and B minus 3, 6 is parallel to another line passing through the point 2 minus 1. Find the equations for the two lines. We start with the first line AB, and we have our equation is of the form y is equals to m1x plus c. We determine the value of m1, and we're going to learn that m1 is equals to 6 minus 0 over minus 3 minus 2, and this one translates to 6 over minus 5. Therefore, our equation will be of the form y is equals to 6 over minus 5x plus c. To determine the value of c, we can use the method we had learned in part 1 of the lesson. In that case, we represent this line on a Cartesian plane where we have A 2 0 and B point minus 3 6, and we have a general point C x y. Realize that the point AB, point BC, point CA, all of them have equal gradients. Therefore, y minus 0 over x minus 2, or this one is also equals to minus 65. We now write this equation in the general form. Y is equals to mx plus c. We multiply both sides by the denominator on the left hand side, and we're going to get y is equals to minus 6 all over 5 x plus 12 all over 5, which is our equation. For the second line, we have y is equals to m2x plus c, and the gradient is the same, so therefore we have y is equals to minus 6 all over 5x plus c. We go back to the Cartesian plane we have drawn already, and we present the second line, and this second line is passing through the point 2 minus 1. Now we determine its equation, and again we have a general point here, call it xy. The line DE and the line AB are parallel, meaning that the gradients are equal. Therefore we have y minus 1 all over x minus 2 is equals to minus 6 all over 5. We write the equation in the general form, and we have y plus 1 is equals to minus 6 all over 5 x minus 12 all over 5, which means that y is equals to minus 6 all over 5 x minus 17 all over 5. In the sixth part of the lesson, we are going to determine the equations of perpendicular lines. In this case, we are going to be guided by the principles. If we have two lines, that is a line 1 whose equation is equals to y is equals to m1x plus c1, and we have a line 2 whose equation is equals to y is equals to m2x plus c2, then we are going to realize that if line 1 and line 2 are perpendicular, it therefore means that m1 multiplied by m2 is equals to minus 1. Alternatively, we have m1 is equals to negative reciprocal of m2. Our first example under this category is find the equation of the line passing through the point 3 minus 4 and is perpendicular to the line whose equation is equals to 8x plus 6 y is equals to 15. The first thing we're going to do is we take the equation of the line given and we write it in the general form, and we're going to have 6y is equals to minus 8x plus 15. Divide both sides by 6, we have y is equals to minus 4 over 3x plus 15 over 6. And we're going to learn that since m1 multiplied by m2 is equals to minus 1, it therefore means that minus 4 over 3 multiplied by m2 is equals to minus 1, which will tell us that our m2 is therefore equals to 3 out of 4. The equation of the second line, that is y is equals to m2x plus c2. We substituted the values known, and we have y is equals to 3 all over 4x plus c2. To determine the value of c2, we have at 3 minus 4 is equals to 3 over 4 multiplied by 3 plus c2, which means that our c2 is equals to minus 25 all over 4, and the equation becomes y is equals to 3 over 4x minus 25 all over 4. In the next example, we are going to determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector to the line passing through minus 2, 5 and 8 minus 7. The first thing we are going to do is we determine where the perpendicular bisector now touches the line, and we say that we realize that the perpendicular bisector touches the line. We realize that the perpendicular bisector for the line to minus 2, 5, 8 minus 7 cuts this line at the midpoint, and therefore we determine the coordinate of the midpoint. and we realize that the midpoint is equals to minus 2 plus 8 over 2 minus 7 over 2. And this becomes 3, minus 1. Number 2, since we have m1 multiplied by m2 is equals to minus 1, we start by determining m1, and we have m1 is equals to minus 7 minus 5 divided by 8 minus 2, and that becomes 12 divided by 10, and this translates to minus 6 over 5. And now we learn that m2 is equals to minus reciprocal of m1, and this one is equals to 5 out of 6. Learn that the perpendicular bisector passes through the midpoint of the line given. Therefore, we have y is equals to m2x plus c2. This translates to y is equals to 5 over 6x plus c2. We determine the value of c2. This line passes through the point 3 minus 1, so therefore we have at 3 minus 1, we have minus 1 is equals to 5 over 6 into 3 plus c2, and that means that our c2 is equals to minus 7 over 2. Therefore the equation becomes y is equals to 5 over 6x minus 7 over 2.
This is Dixon again from MathWiz. We hope you have enjoyed our today's lesson. Remember to subscribe to our channel and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for your watching.